It's July here in our Newdig Norfolk garden, and that can only mean one thing: there is lots to harvest. Today we're taking you on a walk around our veg plot. It's been over a week since we last spoke to you. But we do have a new camera now, and much has changed in the Newdig Norfolk garden. We should look at what we have been harvesting, what is still to come, and look at the changes that have been made. And of course, along the way, we shall share a few tips with you. We shall start here in plot 1. Now in plot number 1, I actually went to harvest some sweetcorn the other day, and it's just about there. It's probably about a week or two from being right there. But it was rather lovely, wasn't it, Mrs. W?
Oh yes.
To be able to
Very
enjoy
nice.
that sweetcorn taste. And that's great news for us. One of the reasons I grow the early bird is that it does come ready sometime in August. We help the kids out by having the grandchildren here during the summer holidays, and they absolutely love sweet corn. In this bed, this was where our red onions were. They've all been harvested, and we've now replaced those with the first row is for brassicas for April next year, and the second row we have our brassicas in there for our harvests next May. And of course, in this bed here, this is where our sprouts are. They're doing really well, coming on lovely, and I look forward to their harvest sometime in November. Here in plot 2, there's a lot of action that goes on here because it has courgettes. And we have courgettes literally coming out of our ears. The weather has been absolutely perfect over the last 2 to 3 weeks. Nice warm sunny days, but every now and again the clouds throw down a huge shower. Sunshine and showers, that equals abundant harvest from these courgettes. We also have Mrs. W's cucumber here that we grew up. Well, it used to be Rosie's cot, didn't it?
Yes.
But it's been repurposed now as a trellis system for the cucumber. And I can see there's lots behind there. You might just be able to see there's one just here.
Oh yeah, that's nearly ready to harvest. That one is by the looks of that.
That it is. There's another one beside it actually, which is not very far away.
So we've got cucumbers coming out of our ears as well then.
You can see here we've just finished harvesting the Lilia salad onions. And they're really lovely with these salads because they've got a lovely red colour, and as they grow on they actually get more of a bulb. So really pleased with those, really pleased indeed. One thing we have learnt from trying a different variety of courgette in front of Mrs. W is the Romanesco courgette, and what we have found is that doesn't store as well, does it, Mrs. W?
No, they go soft quite quickly. They've been sitting with the other courgettes, same conditions and everything, but they are definitely not storing as well as the others. So, but I will still grow them because I do like them.
As long as you use them more or less straight away.
That's it, yes.
And they aren't quite as prolific as these ones here, the green and the yellow, are they? So,
no.
You probably come out, every 2 or 3 days, and you have, 2 or 3 that you can pick. Whereas with these, there's 2 or 3 every hour, I think. Have some salad onions here that they went in probably about 8 weeks ago, so they're about 4 weeks from harvesting. They're getting to a nice size actually. They're Ishikura. And then here, these are our brassicas for August and September, and just about right on cue. I can see here that we have some Calabrese broccoli that are now maturing, They're about a week to 2 weeks away from harvesting. They're small heads like so. Cabbages are coming on nicely, and on the end of the row we have a couple of Romanesco. Here in plot 3 we harvested our remaining red cabbages and the Primo cabbages, or as they say on the seed packet, Golden Acre. I know them as Primo, and my father used to grow them. And that was a fantastic harvest, wasn't it, Mrs. W?
Oh, yes. I had some coleslaw yesterday from them, so very nice.
Of course, of course. But, as I always say, always have something ready to go in. Because as soon as this becomes available, we went straight ahead. I've planted another 3 red cabbages. They should mature round about late November, early December, ready for Mrs. W to do what she does with them over Christmas. And then I've put 3 more cabbages that should harvest around about the same time. I think they were Virtus, that went in there, or were they Tundra? No, Virtus.
I think they were Virtus, yes, yeah.
So they should mature around about the same time. And then in this plot we have our brassicas that will be for the month of January and February. Some of the plants look a bit battered, and that's because while they were actually in the cold frame, clearly we must have gotten some cabbage whites in there, and they've had a go at them. Now we've cleared them, so there are no more in there. It doesn't look like anything is going to be terminal. They're just going to take a little while to recover. And they will, now that we know that there's no more of the caterpillars on there. And so you see, John, it's not just you, it happens to all of us. Happens to the best of us. I think actually what happened with these is that they were in the polytunnel for a little while, weren't they, as young plants before we moved them into the cold frame. And I would imagine that was when they landed on there. But they will recover. We made best use of the space by putting some radishes down the centre, and they're now coming ready now. They're about as wide as my little finger at the moment, so they're the little scarlet
globe.
That's it, scarlet globe, yeah, and they make little round radishes. Really nice at this time of the year. And then in the last bed in plot 3, this is where we have our carrots. These are looking really good. Here is an example of the Chantenay Red, and I really like the Chantenay Red. They're a great carrot to eat, but we tend to use them to cut up and add to stocks that we make, to any casseroles. Also the Nantes. They're getting to a really good size now, as you can see here. A lovely, lovely tasting carrot. The other side of the carrots at this end of the bed, this is where our celery is. Celery is one of those things I never ever harvest the whole plant, because it will keep going. And I just take the larger stalks, usually around the outside of the plant, and you can always see inside the plant it's throwing up more new growth, and it will keep continuing to do that. In that way you have celery for a long, long time. You don't have to keep re-sowing and re-sowing so that you have the whole plant again. Next door to that is our celeriac, and you can see here that one of the celeriac has decided to bolt and go to seed. I've not bothered to take it out. It comes from the Umbellifer family, and beneficial insects are really attracted to those lovely flowers. If you've ever seen a carrot that's bolted and then it comes into flower, you'll find there are lots of beneficial insects that actually gather around it. They really like the flowers. And it's going to look rather pretty, I think, Mrs. W.
I think it will, yes, yeah.
The rest, absolutely fine. Just here are our parsnips. I think we're going to have a really good harvest of parsnips this year. The stems are really thick, and I can see some of their heads. They're like that already. And I'm not even going to touch these until November. Mrs. W might, because she does like a parsnip, but I like to wait until the frost comes. And here in our Zone 9A no dig Norfolk garden, that won't happen until mid to late November. Runner beans, of course. We have absolutely Loads of them. This is one of the lady die. You can see they get quite long really, and it's still not got big bulgy seeds in it. It's the only thing you need to remember when you're growing, whether it be runner beans or French beans, and that you need to keep picking them regularly. That one was hiding from us. This is, for me, this is more like how I would pick them. They're lovely and tender and really quite juicy. Whereas Mrs. W, she likes them to have a seed in them and eat that. So that's fun and games, sorting out all of the beans off each other's plate and who's going to eat what. You can see the archer's working really well with these. They've all met over the top. Tops have all been cut out. There's still many, many flowers. And we can come and we can just harvest them whenever we want. A lot of these, of course, will just simply be processed. We freeze a lot of them so that we can enjoy them later on in the year. This time of the year we eat them all fresh, but we can't possibly eat all the beans that are on here. And of course, towards the back of this pea and bean arch, we have the wonderful Bellotti beans. They're filling out really nicely, Mrs. W.
They're really colourful, aren't they?
Oh, aren't they just? You can see here just how vibrant in colour they are. And we shall let these go over and go like a leathery sort of yellow colour, and then we shall extract the beans from them. You can just jar them up and you can use them later on in the year to add to your casseroles and stews, and that'll provide a valuable source of protein into your recipes. Do let us know in the comments what you're harvesting at this moment in time during the month of July. Hopefully you've had some absolutely abundant harvests from your garden. We do love to get all of your comments. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, then do make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can continue to get all of these tips and hacks that we give you all throughout the year. Here in plot 4, the first bed we have here, this contained the majority of our Globo onions that you saw me harvest in the last video. You can see that I still have a row there. There are onions for show this year. They're looking really good, so I'm hoping that we've got good things coming this year, Mrs. W.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
But they're lovely large onions. But of course, upon harvesting our harvest that we're going to be eating over the next few months, again, we had plants that were ready to go in, and we have transplanted them into their final growing position. What we have is some purple sprouting broccoli. They're now transplanted in there. And on the other side, next to the Globo onions that are still in there, I have some kale, and I tucked in a couple of cauliflowers on the end. Now you can see that there's something down the middle there, and they are actually kohlrabi. They won't actually take very long to come to harvest. I'll probably be harvesting those toward the end of September, beginning of October, and they'll get to that harvest long before these other plants need all the room that they need to give us their harvest. In the middle bed, these are actually our brassicas for the month of December and January. I've got some triumphant cauliflowers. They're traditionally known as the Christmas cauliflower. And then we have some cabbages and Romanesco on the end here. The other side, that's where all of our Swedes are. They're looking really good, aren't they, Mrs. W?
They are. Can't wait for those.
They're already starting to get quite large, so yeah, I'm hopeful for a really good harvest from those. They're a variety called Tweed. And they should be ready for a harvest sometime in October, which is exactly when we want them. Down this strip here, the other side of the leeks, that's where we put in our beetroots that we sowed back in June. So they're now probably 4 or 5 weeks old now, and they're now in there. They've been freshly transplanted, so hopefully they shall take nicely, and we shall have some lovely beetroot to be able to enjoy later on in the year. One thing I did just want to show you though, and this is a tip for you here, These are our leeks. You can see they're looking really, really good. They've grown so well. I'm so pleased with these this year. But we do have some rust starting to appear on the leaves, which is something that happens around about this time of the year. Easily noticeable. It looks like rust, orange sort of colours. And what you do want to do at this time of the year is to actually remove those leaves, because we want to stop it spreading as much as we possibly can. Here's another one here, so let's have that one off. And what we don't want is that to spread really badly and to stop these leeks from growing. It's worth saying that they very rarely do much damage to your leeks. Where they will do, a lot of harm is if your leeks are still quite small and a lot of the leaves do have this rust. Oh, they smell so good, Mrs. W. Here in the greenhouse, everything is coming along really nicely. And over the last few days, Mrs. W has been able to pick many, many tomatoes. The surprise one for us this year was this variety, which is Gormanston. And I have to say, you said it's got a really amazing flavour, hasn't it?
I really like it. It's quite fleshy. There's not many seeds in it, and it has a really nice flavour.
And it's also a plant that we actually picked up from a garden centre. It was on its last legs, really, wasn't it? It wasn't looking very good at all. No. It was being sold on the cheap. And Mrs. W felt sorry for it and thought, I should buy that and give that some TLC, and look how it's rewarded us. Absolutely fantastic. The mystery tomato, and we still don't know what it is. We'll probably never know what it is. But again, you said that tastes really good.
Yes, it does. It's. I thought it could be as it was growing. I did wonder if it was going to be a gardener's delight, but it's not a gardener's delight. It's got similar characteristics in its growth, but no, it's definitely not that. But it's got a nice flavour.
Yeah. Sun Gold, of course, just keeps giving. That's a wonderfully sweet tomato, and of course the red cherry, Mrs. W's favourite.
Lovely, little jewels.
Peppers are all doing really well. And they're actually starting to ripen now, so it won't be long before we get those. But you can see here that earlier in the week, Mrs. W was picking some of our yellow bullhorn. Now, this is a plant that we managed to successfully overwinter. And, it is really worth the try to do that, because even if you just get a couple of 3 plants that you can get out early, they're so much more advanced that, their peppers are ready for us to eat. Absolutely fantastic. And everything else is now starting to go now. They've all got fruits on them. This Cheyenne pepper, and we love these, don't we?
Yes.
They're now starting to turn colour. I can see that the actual sweet peppers over there, they're very slowly now starting to turn colour, so it won't be long before we eat those. And then these spiralus that we grew.
That's our new variety for this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me come and just see if I can get a bit of a close-up of that, because they are ripening. You can see the difference in colour from yesterday. They're ripening very quickly.
Yeah.
So looking forward to trying those.
Yeah. You can see we have many, many sweet peppers. So they're not too far away. I can see some down here that are actually really starting to turn red, and they won't be long before we actually start to...
Just see them yet there.
Yeah.
They're starting to turn, definitely.
Oh yes. Here in the polytunnel there has been so much to harvest. The tomatoes are now starting to turn colour in here. This is always a little bit further behind than the greenhouse. The greenhouse gets far more sunshine. This is actually it's right at the end of our garden, but it does have the woodland canopy over it. But we don't mind that. It actually works really well for us, because we're harvesting tomatoes out of the greenhouse, and now these are coming on strong. So we get 2 hits at it. Now, the melons, they're looking really good. You can see here that they're really starting to swell up. They're getting a shift on now, so it won't be too long before we have some melons. Also, Mrs. W has been almost harvesting cucumbers daily. They're as bad as the courgettes this year, aren't they?
They are. I'm not complaining.
Oh, no. No. You don't want to be complaining, but yeah, they really are doing well.
It's a super year for them, isn't it?
It is, yeah. it is. And at this moment in time we have 2 or 3 different watermelons that are about. So we'll update you on those in a future video as they start to swell and get bigger, but we do have 2 or 3, so I am still hopeful that we're going, or I in particular, am going to get to taste a lovely homegrown watermelon. And the soft fruit is still giving. We now have the autumn raspberries actually getting a shift on. Look at those. This is autumn bliss, believe it or not. And we're just coming to the end of July. Things are harvesting so much quicker. We have blackberries. They shouldn't be harvesting until the middle of August. But they're here now. Hello, Silla. Now, throughout the year we've been featuring container gardening and the things that we've been growing. And hopefully yours are doing really well. Ours certainly are. You can see here we have some sweet corn. That's going to be harvesting really soon. We have squash in containers. The curry squash is looking really good. We've been harvesting carrots from our containers. These nonce carrots are just absolutely amazing. And there's the patio peppers. Well, they're all ripening now. In fact, they're ripening before the ones that we've got in the greenhouse.
They are, aren't they?
But looking really good. And then we have the outdoor tomatoes. Look at these, look. They look so good. Mrs. W's nipping out here every hour to get a tomato as it's ripening. The gherkins and the cucumbers, oh, they're just producing in abundance. In fact, with the gherkins, we can't keep up with them.
No, we can't. No.
But they shall be being preserved, I assure you.
Yes.
And then there's the salad onions. They're doing really well in this container, they really are. If you don't have a lot of space, just put some in a container. They just grow away really well. And you can see here that Mrs. W's lettuce, that's doing us really proud in this container. There's actually just a lid from a raised bed that we got a couple of years ago. We don't need the lid on there, so Mrs. W just put some holes in the bottom, filled it with some compost, and we have lovely lettuce and a few salad onions too.
Mm-hmm. And they're right outside the back door, so we don't even have to go far to get them.
They are indeed. This is the harvest that we took earlier today. So much food that's coming out of this new dig garden, and you know, it really is amazing just how much food we managed to extract from really quite a small space. This is not a full-size allotment, but by using the new dig method, getting the sowings right, the timings right for them, using the right varieties, we can get food out of this garden all year long. And if you enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to get these tips and hacks that we drop in, whether it be a harvest video, the next one will be what to sow in August, so do make sure you're tuned for that on Thursday. Then do make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be notified whenever we upload a video to YouTube. Now, we're back under the arch here for this, and you know, there are many, many beans. One of our favourite ways to actually preserve these so that we can enjoy them much later in the year, well into the new year actually, is to freeze our beans. And if you do it correctly and the right way, they will last well into the new year. If you want to know how to do that, if you're new to it, then watch this video next.